Happy Monday. I'm sure 49ers fans aren't too thrilled after what went down on Sunday. 28-21 loss to the Seahawks, and obviously the top news is the quarterback situation. And this is the summary of it. The 49ers, two quarterbacks, currently are exactly who we thought they are. Doesn't mean that stuff won't change, and it probably will, especially with Trey Lance, because he's going to have some time to develop now, and probably after we get the injury news on Jimmy Garoppolo later today, we'll learn that Trey Lance is starting at Arizona. But as of right now, the 49ers have a quarterback who has struggled to stay healthy in Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's their veteran, and B, a very raw rookie who threw only 318 passes at the FCS level, most of which came 2 seasons ago, and it certainly shows on an NFL field. So those are two issues, right? An oft injured veteran quarterback and a rookie that's a little too raw to really execute Kyle Shanahan's playbook the way that Kyle Shanahan wants to call things. The 49ers have to attack issue 2 much more urgently now, since issue 1 has reared its ugly head again. Back in 2018, Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL. In 2020, he suffered a high ankle sprain. He tried to come back from it, but he re-aggravated it, and it ended his season. Now it's some kind of calf issue for Jimmy Garoppolo, and we'll find out a little bit later on Monday. I'm recording this during the morning, so we'll find out in the afternoon what the MRI says, and we'll see how long he'll be out. He expected a couple weeks, or he said he hoped for a couple weeks on Sunday. So either way, it means that the 49ers are trying to stay afloat in an extremely cutthroat NFC West, and Trey Lance is going to have to be their guy. For all the conspiracy theorists out there, this was not a planned switch at halftime. The 49ers were gaining yardage well. They obviously weren't putting it into the end zone, and that's what ended up costing him against Seattle. That was the fatal flaw, right? Not turning the statistical advantage that they had in the first half into a bigger advantage on the scoreboard. But if we're just talking about standard quarterback operations, Kyle Shanahan was nowhere near making a change. And you could see that by how panicked and scrambled the 49ers were with Trey Lance in there in the second half. In fact, Shanahan didn't even trust Trey Lance to throw until his second drive out there on the field. The first drive was all runs. That's how much the 49ers were scrambling. The stat line was helped by the busted coverage to Deebo Samuel. I mean, there was nobody within 30 yards of Deebo Samuel downfield. Just Jamal Adams pointing somebody cover him instead of covering him himself. So Deebo Samuel scored that 76-yard touchdown. I thought as the second half wore on, Trey Lance got more comfortable. That last drive especially, which of course came against a softer Seattle defense. They're up 2 scores late. That drive, to me, there was some impressive stuff to see from Trey Lance. He did feel the rush better than somebody that has as little experience at a much lower level of college football than he does. So I thought that was impressive for Trey Lance. He did feel the rush. He was able to take off, show some of that athleticism that made the 49ers draft him all the way up at number 3 and trade up for him. They see that potential transcendence that his legs can add to his pocket style game, but that pocket style game is still very, very lacking. For those of you at the game at Levi Stadium yesterday, I'm sure you saw the missed receivers downfield. Brandon Ayuk was running wide open on a play action route, and instead Trey Lance tucked it and ran. Everybody, including those on TV, saw that Kyle Shanahan called a sweep to Deebo Samuel on 4th and 2, completely taking the ball out of Trey Lance's hands. And that's why a lot of criticism is coming Kyle Shanahan's way. People feel that he's not calling this correctly, that he has lost his touch as a play caller. To that I say, let's just wait and see how this all shakes out, because this was literally the game plan for Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday. The 49ers had to scramble to get it ready for something that's optimized for Trey Lance. And there's a reason why Trey Lance is not starting and B, not really playing yet, because he's unable, and Shanahan doesn't trust him to execute the pocket-based game plan yet. So he's an emergency backup, yes, but as you can see, when he comes into the game, it is under emergency circumstances, executed under emergency flow. 49ers have to change gears very quickly from a pocket-based attack to a run-first attack. And that's what we saw happen on Sunday. Trey Lance did get a little bit more comfortable as things went along, and I'm going to be very curious to see how this is going to shake out in Arizona if Trey Lance does indeed start, because the 49ers will have a full week and Shanahan is going to have several practices to actually implement a Trey Lance specific game plan. The ultimate catch for the 49ers is that in this league, in the National Football League, a quarterback is going to have to make 25 to 30 good decisions from the pocket per game to consistently win. That's been proven time and time again. Now, might the 49ers be able to win in the short term with a pared down approach for Trey Lance if he's not ready to make those 25 to 30 good decisions from the pocket per game? Yes, maybe Shanahan can put together some smoke and mirrors for the time being, especially since the Arizona Cardinals don't really have any film on Trey Lance, to allow the 49ers to move the ball and score some points with a primarily read option-based offense where Lance is then, running some play fakes and rifling the ball downfield. Maybe the 49ers can scheme some open space to make it work. But in a league of adjustments and counter adjustments, the NFL is eventually going to figure that out, and Lance at some point is going to have to execute those 25 to 30 good decisions from the pocket per game. And I think based on Sunday's performance, that's still something that he's not ready for. So, we've seen evidence of everything that we've been charting and everything that we've been predicting throughout this offseason now on the field during the regular season, right? We've seen that Jimmy Garoppolo is Shanahan's preferred option right now, and we've seen why Trey Lance is his preferred option of the future, because Trey has that potential. He has that ceiling with the athleticism that was really impressive on display, but we've also seen why Shanahan has been reluctant to play Trey Lance now. I personally think that Shanahan, for some reason, has abandoned his previous plan of mixing and matching both Garoppolo and Lance. You could tell that he really wanted to do it in training camp. I mean, he'll say now that it was only, we're just trying to confuse the opponents that we're preparing for. But against the Detroit Lions, he plugged Trey Lance in there on specific plays. You could tell Shanahan was trying to get something going, but for whatever reason, whether it's something about Lance's development that Shanahan doesn't like, or something about Garoppolo's rhythm and how it might be compromised when Lance comes into the game, Shanahan stopped doing that. But now that's all in the rearview mirror, because now Garoppolo's hurt, and now Lance is somebody that Shanahan has to fully submerge into the action. And based on the two truths that we know, that one 49ers quarterback has gotten injured way too much and he's hurt again, and that Lance is raw, right now, the 49ers have to put together the crash course, and they have to hope that when they throw Trey Lance into the deep end right now, he can swim. It's a sink or swim football league. It's a sink or swim season, because this is a cutthroat division, this NFC West is. Now, the 49ers, as doom and gloomy as people want to be about this right now, are not in completely dead position. The Cardinals are 4-0, and they have a chance to take a bite out of Arizona this week. And the 49ers are 2-2, tied with the Seahawks in the division, with the Rams at 3-1. It is still early. We're not even a quarter of the way through the season. In fact, after the first quarter of this game in Arizona, we'll be a quarter of the way through the 2017 regular season. So we're not even close to the midway point. We're not even remotely close to the stretch run. The way that I describe these NFL seasons are novels, and every game is a chapter. The most recent two chapters for the 49ers have not gone well, but we don't know what the next chapters hold, because we don't even know what the health status of the team is at very key positions. And we also don't even know which 49ers defense, for example, will show up. Will it be 2019 style that showed up early against Seattle, or is it going to be something that showed up against Green Bay? I think that it's a good defense, and I think it needs more help from the offense, which didn't happen. But we need to be able to evaluate how well the 49ers might be able to take all these ugly pieces from this loss to Seattle and cobble them together into an all-around complementary effort. Can Trey Lance, and possibly a pared-down playbook, one that really focuses on Trey Lance taking care of the football, running the ball, can he complement the 49ers defense enough to go out there and grab a win at Arizona. The 49ers are going to be big underdogs, I think, because the Cardinals looked really good against the Rams. But then again, the Rams looked really good against the Tampa Bay Bucks. And then the very next week, they didn't look nearly as good against Arizona. So this is a week-to-week league. The 49ers still have talent. And it's now time to see what Trey Lance can do in a situation where the 49ers didn't quite want to thrust them in yet, but they're probably going to have to. So that's what I'm looking for moving forward. It's unwritten. I don't understand freakouts in one direction or overconfidence in Lance in the other direction. I think I've seen both of those online. I think neither of those two things make sense. I think we just have to sit back and watch to see what develops, because again, the 49ers have been playing a short-term and a long-term plan with their quarterback situation throughout this entire process this year, right? Short-term Jimmy Garoppolo, long-term Trey Lance, maybe sprinkle in some Trey Lance now to make the short-term better. But you never have a plan, and you always have a plan, I guess. As Mike Tyson said, you always have a plan until you get punched in the face. The 49ers have now gotten punched in the face. That really neat short-term, long-term plan flies out the window if one of the two quarterbacks is unavailable. So now the long-term has become the short-term plan. And Trey Lance is going to have to execute now, and we'll see how the 49ers will get this done. So wait and see. I mean, this week is going to be fascinating. Kyle Shanahan, I feel the league has adjusted to a lot of what he's doing, and now he's really going to have to counter adjust. And that was part of the reason of picking Trey Lance, was so that he could have the ability physically at the quarterback position to counter adjust. So now's his chance to do that. All right, everybody take care. Have a good day.